fun is this? Sheep hunting with backpacks. Yippee, yippee, yippee-ki-yay. It didn't happen, we didn't get the sheep. And now it's a blizzard and we don't know where the sheep went. But we saw a 3-year-old ram, 2 ewes and a lamb. And, I don't know, I guess we got about 10 miles to go or something to get to some firewood. We're almost out of food and we don't have a map. We don't know where we are. Yeah. Kind of foggy up top for any wicked mountain scene backdrops right now. I just did a big hike to go retrieve a trail camera that I had ripping for the last month and a half, and it was still working. And you know, a lot of people always say, what's your favorite trail camera? I'll tell you what, I haven't had a trail camera business yet give me a deal on the damn things, and I've spent, I don't know, I think Sarah said I spent $8,000 on them this year. So no, I'm not going to promote them and sell the 5,000 cameras for nothing. Just to put it straight up. I'll tell you what I don't use though. I refuse to use stealth cam except for maybe the 1 or the 2 out of 40 that still work. I refuse to use UA. I refuse to use Wild Game Innovations. I got 3 of those and all 3 are toast within a year. So there you go. I'll leave it at that. What else do I got that I won't use? I think that's about it. Because usually I buy it bulk. I'll buy 10 at a time, 20 at a time. So it's not like I'm buying 2 to 3 of every different flavor, right? Whew, man, it kind of sucks. You know, I just hiked I think I hiked for around 40 days straight nearly, maybe 1 or 2 days off. And you start feeling kind of human, superhuman by the end. You can hike straight up that mountain non-stop for an hour without breaking stride. And sweating not that much, and then you take 4 days off, and holy cow, it's like it put you back behind 3 months. It's not fair. It's not fair. You gotta work so hard to stay in shape. But anyway, I had to get a couple emails out right now while I get a chance. Now, I read an email the other day. The man who said he saw the corpse overseas that was, quote, split down the side with no skeletal remains left in it. And then I replied with, what was that? Was it a human? What was it? Give us more details. He emailed back right away and I caught it by fluke. And we have an update. Now listen to this, all right? It's crazy. Uh-oh. There it is. Dear Steve, first let me thank you for reading my previous email. I've contacted a lot of different sites. Most don't respond or make fun of and disparage me. About the boneless corpse, it was an Iraqi soldier. The area was around the 73rd Easting on the world map. 73 Easting bracket on the world map bracket. Where the Battle of 73 Eastings happened. A pillow is a very good description of the corpse. It was entirely boneless, with no blood being evidence. It was laying on a flatbed, gooseneck, heavy equipment trailer, maybe 40 feet long, within about 3 feet of the hinge. Within about 3 feet of the hinge of the gooseneck. The body was split from about 4 inches below the shoulder down the left side by a razor-like cut, which ended just about where the hip bone would be. It was on its back, head turned to the left, and left arm extended. All internal organs were still contained within, except a small amount of intestines which strung out to the left. The truck the trailer was attached to was burned completely, with a burned body in the passenger seat. and several burned bodies were strewn about the right side of the trailer. But the aforementioned mutilated corpse had no burns whatsoever, nor was the trailer burned except where it attached to the fifth wheel of the truck. The clothes in the corpse were not even singed. It had a standard Iraqi fatigues in olive drab color, which were also split exactly like the corpse. The fabric was not even unraveled anywhere along the cut. Understand, I was looking for souvenirs when I found it. As we were at war, we were kind of morbid. As myself and another guy named Williamson were poking and examining this, our battalion sergeant major arrived, proceeded to lay into us for effing up, being sick dumbasses, and generally questioning our worthiness as human beings. Then a HMMWV, Humvee, showed up full of MPs and told us to leave this area. Also asked us if we had cameras, film, or souvenirs from this site to turn it over to them. Well, being preoccupied with this odd corpse, we had nothing. Our sergeant major stayed and talked to the MPs after we left. They looked at us several times, and the sergeant major approached us and told us never speak about this again. We left the area soon after, and the MPs stayed to guard the site. This is one reason that stuck with me. The MPs stayed there in the middle of nowhere guarding the site as a war was going on and we were taking so many prisoners, which the MPs were supposed to be guarding. Again, this was almost 30 years ago, and my mind was kind of occupied with a lot of other things. I was reading about the cattle mutilations, and these memories came back, due to no sign of blood around the corpse, just like in this case. There you have it. I've contacted a lot with my conclusions. Even David Pilatus, who soundly rebuffed me, saying that demons couldn't possibly be responsible. I'm so glad you listened. I can tell you of my encounters here in West Virginia if you wish, but I already appreciate you. As far as what I'm looking for, I only want to make people aware of my conclusions and perhaps let them check those conclusions out for themselves to determine their course of action. Free will, right? Also, before I go, I will let you know that a compass will spin wildly when these things are about and point directly at them. Just for your information if you believe they are around. Thanks again. Please take care, be careful, and feel free to ask for more if you want. Know you're appreciated. Sincerely, James Boggs. Thanks, James. I appreciate you and the time that you just spent to email me and everybody here listening. That's quite the story. That's quite the eye load you and your partner had over there. Crazy. I don't know what's more crazier. All the crazy, weird shit that's going on, or the reactions from the general public. It's the reactions from the general public that I find probably the most disturbing out of everything. It's amazing. It's amazing how passive we've been conditioned to be, the majority of us, not all of us. It's just amazing to me. You know, recently some American forces military came out with video of UFO basically doing circles around their warplanes. Video directly telling the lens of the camera, the public, about the UFO that was doing circles around the jet warplane. And they also spoke openly about the UFO that they were chasing as it was ripping underneath the surface of the water. Now what's amazing is the majority of you will see that, listen to it, and then maybe a voice in the background will say, "Hey honey, is Honey Boo Boo on yet?" "Yeah honey, in about 7 minutes, we won't miss it." And then you watch that thing on what's really going on, what's really truly going on in our reality, our existence today. And it goes in your eyeballs, gets a couple of ricochets between your ears a couple times and gets spit out in the garbage pile and never gets any more attention than that. And you don't go running screaming to work to tell everybody, "Oh my God, look at this, look at this." Nothing. Do you know what I mean? How bizarre is that? It's a frustrating world when you become aware, when you can think for yourself clearly, you can't be misled. It's a very, very frustrating state of affairs sometimes, I'll tell you what. You know, it's probably why a handful of times in the early stages I was easily lashing out at the majority of the so-called Sasquatch researchers. Take note, I didn't say all of them, so if you lumped yourself into the clown show group, you did it on your own. But it's not hard to do it, right? Because it only takes, if your brain functions, it only takes, 3 or 4 days tops to investigate the Sasquatch thing to understand it's really going on and they aren't a monkey or gorilla, and then carry on. Your average brain should be screaming out loud, holy shit, why are we being lied to? How many of you guys out there pissed off right now that we're being lied to? Seriously. What is there, 160,000 plus people on this channel? I'm really curious to know how many of you are honestly pissed right off that you're misinformed and misled and lied to. Because I know I am. And that's why it is amazing to me to watch so many grown men and women call themselves Sasquatch Bigfoot researchers and stay there obsessed with that tiny little topic, chasing their tail in that small circle. And take note, at the same time, never ever mentioning how angry they are about how many people's lives have been turned upside down, or the fact that we're all being lied to. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's so easy to see that. It's so easy to see these individuals or groups doing that exact same thing, mimicking each other, staying in that tight circle of no end, chasing their tail. Take a second out and Google up the definition of insanity. Just do it. Just do it right now. Google up the definition of insanity and then think about the words I just spit out. All right? So are you understanding why I get frustrated? Why I'm frustrated? And you know, a lot of these so-called researcher groups, when you get back to the Sasquatch topic, they got all offended by me. And they think I'm insulting them. Well, quit being such a pussy. I'm not insulting you. I'm challenging you to get better and to snap out of it, get your head out of your ass and quit chasing your tail and get on with it. And act smart instead of acting stupid, especially publicly. What are you thinking? Every single thing that you are trying to prove is being proven. You're not doing shit to help your community. You're not doing anything. You're chasing your tail. You're mimicking 9 out of 10 of the other so-called researchers, and you're doing the exact same shit. Oh, wait. And you're trying to create a following and make t-shirts and frickin' coffee mugs. See how I'm getting frustrated, people? You know, even what I'm doing, it is fairly repetitive for me at this stage of the game. It's like, okay, I don't even know what number email I'm reading out now, but I'm doing it. It is fairly somewhat repetitive. My knowledge base goes a little bit more beyond what these emails have shared with me now. But again, I will keep reading these emails because it does help people. I get thank you emails by the dozens, by the hundreds. It's helping people. And as long as I can keep helping people get their life back and get back into the real world and enjoy what they're passionate about, which coincidentally is a lot of things I'm passionate about, I got no problem doing this. All right, and I'll keep doing it as I can when I can. But moving along, how do we break the trend of people being suppressed? How do we break the trend of people being passive enough to not even raise an eyebrow when something absolutely alarming is delivered to them, factual, and they just can't deal with it? How do we break that? How do we fix that? Where do we find our real leaders? Where do we find the good guys? The good guys and the good women, the warriors, the fighters, the independent thinkers, the ones that can't be misled. Where are you guys? Where's my people? You know? Man, if we could only form an army of good, honest people who really, really care and who really want to make a difference and are willing to fight for it. Ugh. There's a lot of tyranny in the world today. There's a lot of misleading going on. The big picture is massive. It's huge. I can't imagine what it would take to be able to wrap your head around what's really going on the planet today and keep your shit together while realizing it and seeing it clearly. I don't have a clue. I'd imagine it would be something else to just have the blatant facts dumped in your lap for you to do with as you please. Listen to me go, huh? Obviously when I go hiking by myself, I got a lot of time to think. And then I got emails from people, courageous, brave people like James Boggs here, who's willing to throw it out there on his name and tells exactly what he's seen and knows. And that just adds more fuel to my fire, right? So, while I'm here, I'm going to see what else we got, and I'll read out another email or two. It's getting dark. I got things to do, places to go, shit to get caught up on. Here we go. Hello, Steve. My name is Russ, and I live in the northern part of Minnesota. I'd like to thank you for all that you're doing for us. that have had the unfortunate experience of seeing these beings and had the shit scared out of us. I actually emailed you before of my first sighting. I believe it was back in March. Since my first encounter in 2012, I've had a couple other sightings in the same general area that I hunt. Tree knocks, found a few tracks, heard their moan, howl, call that makes you want to shit yourself and jump out of your own skin, and heard two of them having what sounded like a conversation. Although it sounded like gibberish, it was definitely a conversation. The activity always seems to pick up around late September through October, and then again in December, as I'm very certain they know when rifle season is in November, and I believe they hide out in the bogs. I still get an uneasy feeling walking my stand in the dark during bow season due to the leaves still being on the trees, and our woods are very thick. Not quite as bad during rifle season. I wanted to email you again and let you know something that has helped me reduce my fear and possibly help others that don't want their love of the outdoors to be ruined. I've spoken to a few Ojibwe elders in my community about my encounters, and they both told me the same thing. These beings are masters of the woods and are always aware of your presence. They can sense if you're good or bad. If they wanted to hurt you, you don't stand a chance of making it out of the woods alive, even with a rifle. They're always watching. I say they because there's usually more than one. I asked them how I could get over my fear and enjoy my love of hunting. One elder told me to learn how to say hello in the woods, I am your friend, in the Ojibwe language. I started doing this season. I say it out loud as I'm walking my stand, or after I get up in it. The activities seem to reduce. I still get the occasional tree knock or branch snapping, but for the most part, they haven't scared the shit out of me like they used to. I swear they have a sense of humor and it's kind of funny. I honestly don't know if this is what is working for me. Maybe they just realize I mean them no harm and I just want to hunt. Either way, I thought this may be helpful to others. Keep up the good work and as always, be safe. You may use my name if you share this. I don't give two shits about what other people think. I know what I've seen, heard, and smelt in the woods, and nothing will ever change my mind. Thanks for reading. Russell Trettel. Right on, Russell. Thank you very much. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You know, handful just last year. I think it was last year was the last year. You know, I was telling Scott Carpenter flat out, I'm like, I don't talk too politely to these things. I tell them to F up. In my head, outside loud, if I started getting nervous, I just say flat out, I'm going to put a hole in your head if I have to, so just leave me the F alone. And I'm using curse words like you've never wanted to hear before. Because I was stressed out, and it was turning, that stress is being scared, and being scared turns to anger. And as we all know, there's no more dangerous being than a scared human being on the planet that we know of, right? That we're familiar with. So, but now after reading all these emails and talking to so many First Nations people, I easily came to the conclusion that these beings are watching us all the time. There isn't a question about it. And I just flat out say, I know you're here. You know I'm here. I don't need to disturb you. I'm not out to get a picture of you or prove anything. Let's just live our lives and enjoy this shit together. And just leave me alone. Just please don't scare me. All right? We need the shit scared out of me. And I think this past year has been probably one of the most comfortable years I've had in the woods in many years. I mean, obviously I don't show anybody where I go hunting here around here because it's my secret spots, right? But I assure you, I go into the middle of nowhere alone, and I do it daily, and I never had a problem, and I never looked behind my back once this year. Even when, you know, earlier in the fall, up in the middle of BC, where that thing was beating on the tree, and it didn't they blocked me from hearing that somehow, but the guy that was hunting with me heard it clearly. How bizarre is that one? But anyway, that's a little bit of a rant for today, but I was eager to get the follow-up of the sliced chorus out to you guys and share a few of my feelings about the shit show that's going on today. Who am I, right? Who am I to say anything to you guys? But I assure you, I would stake my life on it right now. We are being misled and suppressed, especially from big tech. All right? Look into it.